Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan Yo's podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Chris. And Sting had his final match. He retired. Darby Allin went through some glass. Sting's sons came out. It was an amazing event. And that's all we're going to talk about Sting today, because we have Rod and Chris, two experts in watching wrestling as of now on the WWE side. Chris, I know you thought your rabbit ears were going out on Friday night when Rock was giving his promo, didn't you?
There was a lot to that promo. It was long, a little bit arduous. It
was an arduous journey going through the promo.
It was long, and that slowed down the whole night for me, really. I will say one thing though. You have, and I know, Rod, you're going to get mad at me, but I'm coming after your boy, okay? You had 3 days since Friday to come up with something, and you come up with Diarrhea Dwayne.
Okay, so, wow, we're just going all over the place here. Who cares about the script? Who cares about the show rundown? We're just going to go from topic to topic, right, Chris?
Wild card.
Okay. Rod, apparently you can be hot about anything you want to, so just talk about whatever you want. It's fine. No problem. Not my show anymore.
Here's what I'm absolutely hot about is just when I think I've rounded the corner and I've become the kind of wrestling fan that can pick things out and can see things coming from a mile away and never get duped by anything and always know it's all fake. They got me again, Jimmy. They got me again. I don't know which way is up, which way is down. Did we start this way and deke here? Did the crowd make us have to move here? Did The Rock always intend to cut a 21-minute promo on his Instagram live? You know what I mean? Like they've done so many things. It's brilliant. Chef's kiss once again. Here I was thinking they couldn't fool me anymore, and they've absolutely fooled me, and they got me wondering what's up, what's down, what's left, and what's next. And that's absolutely what you want to do 32 days out for WrestleMania now, I believe I'm taking.
For sure. And for those of you watching or listening live on X, on YouTube, or on Facebook, throw a question, comment in the chat. We will definitely talk about it. And this show's for you. It actually shows for us as much because we love talking about wrestling. But Rod, when this first happened, I figured Cody was always supposed to win the Royal Rumble. And I figured that something was going to happen where it was Cody and Roman at Mania. Apparently that might not have been it. And it was the crowd, and it was kind of the reactions to The Rock, and that changed a lot of things. But I will tell you, you've got to give it to The Rock. He is going 1,000% heel Rock as much as he possibly could. He started on the Pat McAfee show with the Cody Crybabies, and then he brought out the $15,000 shirt 2 weeks ago. I even know what he was wearing on Friday. Like, was that alive at one point? Was that just...
Mrs. Morgan, thinks that's probably a Versace shirt.
It's pronounced Versace, Rod.
I think you're right. Excuse me.
So I think Rock has made this an amazing event. And Chris, you are going to learn very quickly that The Rock goes as long as he wants, for as long as he wants, and says whatever he wants to do. I thought it was interesting because I thought it was my YouTube TV, which never goes out, going in and out a lot and black. And apparently the black screen that came up was a big sign of Die Rocky Die that was in there, and the crowd was chanting it, Die Rocky Die. And I thought that's some Attitude Era stuff right there, because that is super heat. I love that. But the best part, guys, was that end. Rod, tell me you didn't get chills. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know. Rod, did you get chills?
Oh, like I said at the beginning, at the top, they got me again. I'm sitting here watching it by myself down here in the basement, and we get ready for The Rock. And Chris, let me take a quick sojourn here. Get ready for The Rock to basically always be on the borderline of cheese-tastic. All right. Even Rocky back in his glory days was just a little bit cheese-tastic. All right. So just get ready for that out of The Rock. And how dare you attack Seth Rollins? Just wait until I've got more time to get into you about that. But as I was saying, when The Rock went to do If You Smell, and they went the low angle camera, and all of a sudden you see coming in is the hand of the tribal chief. And I said, oh my, what's about to happen here? I stood up, I started walking around my coffee table. And then when Roman said, I need you to do something for me. I was like, oh my God, what's he about to ask him here? And then he said, acknowledge me. And I said, of course, that's what it is. The only thing Roman Reigns has said for 4 years, the only thing he said to anybody ever, why wouldn't The Rock have to do the same thing? It was fabulous. I absolutely loved it. But the other little Easter egg that I finally now think is something, Jim, is that when we go into the bloodline, point to the sky, The Rock is not just holding up one finger. There is a thumb involved every time with The Rock. And Chris, something that you have hinted at quite often on this podcast. Damn it, if you're going to end up being right on this. I'm going to be so mad, Jimmy, for being right on this.
So I have to ask, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know what the L is for.
We know. Yeah, we know. So who is known for his thumb and apparently a good singing voice in the bloodline? Solo. And I honestly didn't think about that until Rod texted, but it does make sense that maybe Solo's going to go with The Rock. When The Rock went to do what you smell what The Rock is cooking and Roman Reigns grabbed his arm, I thought it was going to be he was going to take it and just say what the bloodline is cooking. And that would have been pretty cool, I think, because that would have stopped Rock from doing it. The fact that The Rock said and enunciated, just like Paul Heyman, perfectly, I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. Gold, Jerry. That's gold. I thought that was amazing.
But Jimmy, let's not forget this here, okay? When Solo first arrived, he told Roman he was sent by the tribal elders. So The Rock acknowledged Roman as his tribal chief, but is it not possible that Roman could still be above him? I mean, that Rock could still be above Roman as the tribal elder that sent Solo in the first place. And Jimmy, I'm starting to believe that all of this is going to swirl around and we're going to end with The Rock and Solo turning on Roman Reigns, and something you told everybody to look out for a while back as well. WrestleMania could end with Roman Reigns being a babyface and me being wrong that he continues on to break Hogan's record.
Oh, he's not winning, Rod. He is not winning at WrestleMania. There's no way he's winning.
I mean, I think you said that last year.
Yeah, and I was right until an 80-year-old pervert came back and said, "Nah, we're gonna have Roman win." That's what alleged pervert, alleged. Don't sue us.
We need heat. We need heat.
Of a 2-hour SmackDown, that was about 40 minutes total with the entrances and everything. We didn't even get to the main story. Is we are going to have that tag team match that we all talked about. It's going to be the night one of WrestleMania, but there's going to be an interesting stipulation on that. Whereas we have Roman Reigns and Rock, if they win, it's a tribal. No, it's a bloodline rules match where Solo's going to be saying America the Beautiful and the Star Spangled Banner, which was hilarious. And they can just do whatever they want. I don't know. It's weird because do you want to throw everything at, and I'm going to go to Rod with this one. Do you want to throw everything imaginable at Cody for him to lose the belt only to win the belt? Or do you want to just be one-on-one? Let's do this the right way. Let's have not necessarily the right way. Let's just do this old school one-on-one. Whoever wins, and it would be Cody or Roman.
You're gonna dislike me for this, but I'm gonna say a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B here. All right. I think what we're gonna have is the match is absolutely going to end up being bloodline rules because The Rock and Roman are going over on night one, and it's gonna also factor into my guy. But again, I'm gonna hold off on all of my guy's thoughts. Let's get to him and Drew separate. Yep. Let's try not to involve him in this as much. So I don't like that for my guy. But what I think that means is Rock turns on Roman with Solo. That's the thing. And so then all you Cody crybabies are going to still want to cry a little bit because you're not going to get your clean storybook one-on-one clean ending. But Roman's going to lose the belt and walk out of WrestleMania.
So, Chris, what happens? What happens if Roman is going to pin Cody? And then all of a sudden, Rock and Solo beat him up. And then we have the corporate nightmare or something like that, where we have Cody, Solo, and The Rock as a new unit together, the bad guys against Roman Reigns. Oh, that's disgusting, Rod. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know. What do you think, Chris?
I am pro at that point in time. I'm still pro Cody and pro Rock, right?
Because they're your favorite.
I'm anti Roman Reigns. I'm not a fan.
So no, wait.
Of
No
Roman
matter
Reigns.
what Roman Reigns does, he's a bad guy to you. He's dead to you.
I am not a fan of Roman Reigns. So there has to be a huge turnaround and a big character arc to get me back behind it. And that
Okay.
can happen, all right?
Sure.
Because when I first started watching, Dom was a wuss, nothing, who I
Wow.
dreaded seeing in the
Word.
ring. Now he is fabulous, and I want to see him every week.
He is fabulous. Let's move on to our boy Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins came out, made fun of The Rock and Roman for their 21-minute speech. Of course, they made fun of him for 23 minutes, which I thought was funny, and didn't answer any questions. And Rod, I'm just going to ask you this right here. Would you be okay with on Monday, Seth and Drew McIntyre come out and word for word just say what they wrote on Twitter to each other? Because I think that'd be a better promo than what we saw.
Yeah, I also do think there was a word choice though used in the Twitter back and forth that I think some people might have a little bit of an issue with being used on television there. So you know, I mean, we try not to necessarily use
The
that.
Rock called people crackheads multiple times.
That's a different connotation than the word that Seth chose to use. And then I even saw a wrestler point out that particular word, we're able to use that word again. So, I mean, I think there was one particular word there that might be a little problematic. I mean, we did bleep out die, Rocky, die after all. So I'll just say that. But no, you're right. There was some definite heat created between those guys on Twitter. And I'm excited for this match, I guess, because I know it's going to be a great match, but I think I know exactly what's going to happen here. I mean, I think we're giving a little bit too much of it away here by the story that needs to be told, but we're giving a little bit too much of it away here. To me, there's nowhere that this story ends after it's the whole time Drew showing Seth, you're paying too much attention to this other thing over here. Meanwhile, we see Seth paying all the attention to the other thing over here. So, I mean, I don't see any way other than it ends not well for my guy.
Yeah, it's not looking good, Chris, is it?
To be honest, I don't think it's looking good for either of our guys. I kind of agree with Rod. I exactly see how this is playing out. Drew finally getting a win against Seth, getting the belt, and then El Senor Money in the Bank coming down and making this extensively the largest WrestleMania in history, and another belt change in the same night while he cashes in his Money in the Bank contract.
He could. That could happen. For those of you watching right now, if you have any questions or comments about WWE, WrestleMania, Seth Rollins, The Rock, crackheads, or diarrhea, please let us know. If you want to talk about Sting, we can as well. Not very long, obviously.
No, wait a minute though, Jimmy. You talk about this often real quick. How about this? Let's tie WWE and Sting together, right?
Sure.
The old man that you made reference to, he's running things. Ain't no chance Michael Cole gets the thing to say, hey, congratulations to Sting for walking away. And Pat McAfee does not get the chance to say that was an awesome match.
He almost didn't get the chance to say it anyway.
That's true.
Yeah, I thought that was great. You know, Sting had a memorable WWE run, and he did have a championship match against your guy and almost died. He did also have one of the worst endings to any WrestleMania match ever, with Triple H going over. There's no way he should have gone over there. Sting should have gone over. I will say that's the day I die. I don't care what war it is or anything like that. But yeah, Sting ended his career, and WWE, rightfully so, said thank you for that. So I thought that was pretty cool there. Speaking of our boy,
is Darby Allin okay? Let's just go ahead and point out
Sure.
the other person in that match. Is Darby Allin okay? Because I mean, that was a wicked spot that dude took off of that ladder through the plate glass window with the chairs right there. I mean, that's a dangerous kind of spot that WWE doesn't even do anymore.
According to my boy Brian Alvarez, he only ended up with 12 stitches total on his back. It's death by 1,000 cuts. That glass is supposed to break like it did. It looked like he was wearing a cape at some point, but he is still going to go climb Mount Everest, I think, coming up in the next week or two. So he's good to go with that.
I do want to give a shout out to Sting. All right, no joking aside.
Sure.
First live wrestling event I ever went to was in a high school in my county,
and that's how we know Sting is that old. Thank you very much.
Well, wait a minute. High school?
It was.
Sting debuted in 1982. 92, 2000.
I didn't say I was in high school.
You are old.
I said it was at a high school.
Oh, so you were like a teacher there.
No, he was. I believe he was in the custodial arts at that particular school.
Either way,
facilities management.
That's really cool that was your first match and you saw Sting. That's really cool. Sting also admitted to using steroids for about 6 years as well in the post press conference, which I thought was pretty cool. But let's get back to WWE here real quick. We have our first Hall of Fame inductee, and who better to go into the Hall of Fame than Philadelphia's own Paul Heyman? I think this is terrific. I think it's a really good matchup. Obviously, he's been asked to go in the Hall of Fame multiple times. He said no, but this is the place to do it, Rod.
Yeah, this is the birthplace of ECW, right? And I saw a clip floating around on one of the many different algorithms that serve me up wrestling clips because I don't get enough wrestling on Monday and Friday when the premium live events happen. So where Heyman surprise appeared in the ring after a spotlight came up on him and nobody knew he was going to be in the ring at a place in Philadelphia, and the place just went crazy and he's choked up a little bit. And I just imagine we're going to get that, and that's going to be a cool moment. But over or under Undertaker speech? Are they going to let Paul Heyman go for longer than the Undertaker, Jimmy? Because I mean, Paul Heyman could certainly go, but I don't think you want to let this guy talk for longer than they let the Undertaker talk.
I don't think so. I think Paul Heyman knows this is what he does. He speaks. He's going to go the right amount of time. He'll be fine. As I say that, he comes out with a little thing that Undertaker had. He takes his coat off. He's like, all right, here we go. 1967. A lot of hair. Then a couple other quick notes from Raw. We are going to have a gauntlet match next week for the number one contender for Gunther. I think your boy Chad Gable has a shot. It's a non-0% chance he wins that. I think Sami Zayn probably will win it, but I could see Chad Gable, Rod.
If we're talking about names, it's got to be Sami Zayn, right? Because I mean, you look up out there, and no offense to Samantha Irvin's beau there, Ricochet, but I mean, you know, there's some guys up there that you're just kind of like, really? These are the guys? And so, I mean, you know that other people are involved in other things, and so there's certainly guys that are higher on the card than these folks. But yeah, man, why not Chad Gable? Let's go. But because he seems to be getting the biggest pop, like even when he's back there talking to Pierce, or they just announce his name, that probably means it's not going to be him.
Now, Chris, I'm sure you're familiar with Gunther and JD McDonough's big feud in England back about 10, 15 years ago, correct?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Or how about Ricochet and Gunther on the Indies and also in England, just randomly from about a decade ago?
No idea what you're talking about.
Oh. So wrestling is so fun because there is so much history that we don't know about that literally, yes, Gunther or Walter, should I say, and Ricochet have had tens and tens of matches over the years that we don't even know about that have been amazing. JD McDonough and Gunther have had amazing matches that they have no clue about. That's why I like wrestling, just because there's so much that goes into it and so much history. It's pretty cool.
Chris, you also wouldn't even recognize Gunther in some of those matches that Jimmy's talking about as well. He's got a lot of extra poundage on him. Looks a lot different.
So I got to ask you guys this question because it's been bugging me since I watched Raw. All right. Why is it this group picked for this gauntlet match? Why not get I feel like this group specifically waters down Gunther's reign as Intercontinental title champion. Like I feel like he's beat all these guys already. Like we've seen him against Ricochet, we've seen him against Gable, we've seen him against Bronson Reed, we've seen him against Shinsuke. You know, I'm sure he's fought Sami Zayn at some point in the past as well. But I feel like we need to have bigger names in this. Why not give some of the guys who lost in Elimination Chamber, and I'm not all of them, but throw a couple in there, get some bigger names in this gauntlet match to make it mean a little bit more.
Well, Randy Orton's going to be fighting Logan Paul, so I mean that takes him off the table. You know what I mean? Drew McIntyre's going to be fighting Seth Rollins, so that takes him off the table.
LA Knight, AJ Styles.
Yep. Logan Paul's in the match with Randy Orton, so that takes him off the table. Bronson Reed was supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber match, but then he had to go out because he had his first child, I believe.
Yeah, KO might be in that. as a triple threat with Orton and
yeah. So I mean, who's it going to be, Chris? I mean, what do you want? Angel? Do you want Humberto? Do you want Carlito? Do you want to see Rey Mysterio coming back? I mean, do you want to see Karrion Kross? I mean, who else could it be?
I get that. I get what you're saying though, Chris. As a fan, why? I guess would be the question that you're asking because he's already beat all those guys.
Yeah.
Maybe and have they really won anything to earn the spot back? Where like an Ivar's been on every week and killing it. Why isn't he in there? Yeah, I think that's a good point, Chris, and I don't know if I have an answer to it. But I will say this: if it's Chad Gable, that's going to be a heck of a match, and it's going to be a heck of a win for Gable. But again,
Jimmy, we're going to touch on.
Here's the thing:
touch on Maxine here when you get done.
Yeah, we can for sure. Yeah, I was actually going to go to women next anyway. But if Gable wins at WrestleMania, what are they doing with him the next night? Because if you beat Gunther, you've got to be strong, and that's why like a Braun Breaker I thought was going to be in it or someone like that. Who knows? Yeah, Rod, why don't you go? I was going to go to Becky and Nia, but we can go to Maxine real quick, where we've got some dissension in the women's ranks a little bit, and they're kind of making the Maxine a storyline now.
Yeah, to me it's rough, right? It's just one of those things that like you could convince me on either side of the argument, right? Yeah, Maxine, Chris, if you didn't hear about this, shows up at a house show and just it gets pretty merciful for her, right? They're booing her, they're telling her she's terrible, they're just letting her have it the whole time, which ultimately is a whole lot of what wrestling is. And I'm somebody that will boo at sporting events from time to time. So the fans should be able to say what they want to see. It's their only course of action. But it did seem to me like it bordered a little bit on the extreme here. And like, we all kind of like seeing Maxine on our TV anyway. So like, let's give her a little bit of a break. We all kind of understand she's out and green and it's part of her character. It's why she's in the Alpha Academy. It's why Chad Gable's showing her things. So I don't know. It's just, I thought it was interesting because I think it speaks to how we can be a little overly sensitive at times, but I think it also speaks to how, yeah, maybe we did go a bit too far, but we should be able to boo because we want heels in WWE. So I thought it was interesting, Jim.
And then do you want to have someone working on their craft on the main roster that I paid probably $50 to $100 for a house show to go see? Or do you want to see that in maybe NXT, Chris? Interesting.
I think you want to see somebody that is able to take what the crowd's giving them and use that to their advantage in one way or the other. If she's going to have to do house shows and those house shows boo her, and then the main crowds on the live shows boo her, then she's going to have to use that to her advantage and start turning heel against them. Like, get that heat. Like, maybe she's not going to be a babyface when she's like this screen.
Maybe. Could be. For those of you listening, watching on X and YouTube and Facebook, throw a comment in those comments and we'll definitely talk about it. If you have any questions, if you want to talk to us about what do you think about The Rock? What do you think about Cody Rhodes? Or what do you think about Nia Jax, Becky Lynch's yikes? That's kind of my gimmick here a little bit on text when something goes really bad. I'm not a professional wrestler. I don't know what goes into it. But I know that when you get kicked or when you get drop kicked, you need to sell it. And people are going to get hurt still, and they didn't beat Nia again, which makes me think that if Becky wins, it's going to be Becky and Nia after WrestleMania, Rod. And I don't understand why Nia is in the position she's in. I'm happy that she has a job. I'm happy she's paying the bills. But I would think she would want to take care of people better.
Yeah, that's the interesting part of it all, because I understand why Nia Jax was given another shot. She is just an easy place at the top of the card type event, attraction, easy heel, easy foil, right? But you're absolutely right. If she's not going to be able to do any kind of care to people in the ring, then you don't want her out there, because the easiest way to get somebody over is to have them be able to keep wrestling. So if they're going to get in the ring with someone who injures them and they can't keep wrestling, it's awful difficult for them to get over. So yeah, man, I like that Liv was sort of involved, but I do admit that I was like, now we have another non-finish between Nia and Becky. So what are we doing here?
At least we have a Liv as a bad guy now too, so I guess that's good for that. And Candice LeRae is bad; she's a bad guy now too, so that's fine. Other than that, anything else we want to hit on Raw?
I love Adam Pearce. I just kind of wanted to shout out Adam Pearce here. I just think that the man continues to do his job really, really well. I just think that there's a stark difference between what Adam Pearce does on Monday nights and what Nick Aldis does on SmackDown. And I prefer the Adam Pearce way of being official over the condemnation and smugness of a Nick Aldis on SmackDown, I would say.
Chris, you like smugness, don't you?
One last thing about Raw,
Sure.
and it has me thinking about what we talked about earlier with the gauntlet for Gunther. All right.
Yeah.
We just saw Jey Uso lose to Gunther through what may or may not be considered interference.
Sure.
Why didn't he get in this
Because he's going to
gauntlet
wrestle
match?
Jimmy.
So if this is a bloodline match on night 2,
Okay.
do we end up seeing Jay out there? Because he is blood. And if we do, are we more prepared to see a split with Solo and Rock if we see Jay come out there?
Jay's definitely not coming out there, but Chris, I like what you brought up here, Jimmy. This was something else I wanted to talk about with the whole Rock, Seth, Cody, Roman of it all, right? If the bloodline does come out for their bloodline rules match, and it's not going to go the way I said of Rock turning on Roman, I believe we're going to need someone showing up as backup for Cody and Seth, right? And it probably can't be Seth because I believe he's going to be injured. So,
Yes.
Jimmy, who are we looking at here? Are we going to get glass breaking? Jimmy, is glass going to break and he's going to come out and deliver a stunner or a chair to somebody? Or is it going to be somebody else I'm not thinking of?
Because
John Cena?
if it's bloodline rules match and there are no rules, anybody can come out. And I don't know if you've been looking at Steve Austin's Instagram account lately. He's doing the cold baths. He's looking pretty good there. How about one more stunner for Rock and Austin? That would be amazing. It truly would be. I think that can happen. Obviously, the pie in the sky dream is to have Dustin Rhodes come out.
That'd be
He's
awesome.
in another company. Not happening. Honestly, it's the perfect ending to this story. But that cannot happen, which is fine. But then you have Austin come out, and you know what? You said Cena just haphazardly there. Why not have Cena and Austin both come out?
Why not
And
have
Hogan? Screw it. Have Hogan come out too. Hogan
go.
would come out because he doesn't want him to break his record. Let's go. I love
Listen,
it.
why not have everybody who's been wronged by
Roman
Roman
and the
and the bloodline lately come out? And then
Cesaro, let's go.
Then you have Rock in front of the bloodline and you have everybody else, but not the true megastar. Then you hear the glass shattering and out comes your
So
boy,
Steve Austin
Stone
is the
Cold.
Captain America in this with the
Exactly.
Avengers Assemble. You know what's
Beer
funny?
can.
That
Beer
is about as hokey as you can possibly get, and I would love every second of it.
What a
That would
throwback
be
to the Attitude Era when you had just mass
amazing
chaos at the end
to
of
pass the torch to Cody Rhodes as the new leader of this generation, with everyone of the past generation coming in, forming as Captain Planet, whatever you want to call it. And listen,
Start
that's it.
Taker's entrance right now. Start Taker's entrance right now if we want him to be part of it.
That's it. I mean, that's what it is. That is the bloodline versus Cody and all the superstars and everything like that. So that was a heck of a Yeah We Know podcast. We're gonna get to Balls and Brew here in 1 second as well, because we just like to do everything here. But with that, I would like to say thank you for everyone watching. Make sure you post a comment, share, like, retweet, all that good stuff. The more you do that, the more we can do this as well. With that, you've been listening to the Yeah I Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Chris.
Let's go. I was complaining that 33 days up to WrestleMania was too much. I'm crazy. We don't have enough time to get all this stuff sorted out. Let's go.
Goodbye Net. Yeah.
But Jimmy,
Hello,
aren't we doing
Internet,
Balls
the
and
More You
Brew
Know
Thursday
podcast
with
network.
Father Pete?
Oh, we are doing Balls and Brew Thursday. Never mind, live listeners. We're gonna do Balls and Brew Thursday.
We got
Come
the
back Thursday.
I thought we were gonna do the first part. now, but whatever. On that, we'll see you later because we're still live. Bye.
Goodbye, Net.
Yeah.